When you're writing source code, you're really just typing in text, and you can do that with any text editor. Something like TextEdit on a Mac would be fine. And then you could save that file and send it over to the Python interpreter to execute. That would be kind of an old school way of doing things, and there are plenty of programmers who do it that way. But most programmers, I think, and certainly most beginners, are going to be more comfortable using something called an IDE, or an integrated development environment. An IDE is, at its heart, still just a text editor, but it adds on features that will assist you as you're programming. So it'll color code your text, it will have a shortcut to run your code, it'll have some tools to help you find errors, things like that. There are many IDEs available out there, and if you have a favorite from previous programming experience and that IDE is compatible with Python, you are welcome to use that. But what I'm going to recommend is that you install PyCharm. PyCharm is a very popular IDE for Python. I think it's probably the most popular, but I don't say that with any authority. It just seems that way. It has a paid version and a free version. We'll use the free version in this course. And this is what I intend to use for the videos that I record for the class, which could change. I also happen to use Visual Studio Code, and so I may end up recording a couple videos in that just so you can see the differences. But for the most part, I think I'll use PyCharm. To install PyCharm, you can go to their website, which is jetbrains.com/PyCharm. And the page may have changed since I recorded the video, but there should be a clear download link somewhere on there. And when you go to that download link, it will attempt to detect what type of computer you're on. So I'm on a Mac here. And you can see the professional version and the community version. Professional is the paid version, and you can only download a trial of that. We're going to use the community version. If you look around on the website, you can find out the differences between the two, but there's nothing we need to do in this class that you cannot do with community. So I'm going to go ahead and click to download that. You don't need to provide any email. That's just to put you on a newsletter. And this will send you essentially a DMG link, which is a kind of an image of a drive. And so we'll go ahead and open that, let it download. And that's interesting. There's a little bit of a markup issue in their DMG. This is supposed to have a picture of an arrow, because what you do to install this is you click that. Oops, I clicked too long. You click and drag that to your applications folder. Depending on the settings on your computer, you may need to provide an administrative password in order to install this. It will grind away for a couple of seconds. And this should now be installed. At this point, you can close that, and you can unmount that drive if you need to. And the last thing we'll want to do is we'll want to run this, make sure it's working, and your course may require you to submit proof that you have it working. So two places we can run this, at least two places, but the Launchpad, it should now show up at the end of your list there. And I always like to use Spotlight, which is Command Space, and then I will type PyCharm and I'll hit enter, and that will load. The first time you run it, you'll need to agree to the user agreement, the terms and conditions, and then it'll ask you some configuration settings. I don't like to send statistics. You can do that if you want. There was kind of a big version change with PyCharm, and they changed the way that some of their keyboard shortcuts work. You're probably going to want to just keep this. I've never used PyCharm. And then you want to choose a theme. You can choose the light theme or what they call Darkula. And of course, I'm edgy, so I'm going to pick Darkula. At this point, I'm going to skip the rest of these. You can go through them if you want, but there's nothing else significant to us at this point. and it will then run and pop up what I call the splash page, which is where you can create a project or open a project, that kind of thing. And this is where we will want to have a screenshot to submit. So on a Mac, that is Command-Shift-3 to take a screenshot of the whole desktop. It'll briefly pop up a thumbnail in the corner, and when that goes away, it will have saved that to your desktop with the time and date. You can find that file and submit that for the assignment. That's all we need to do to get this running. I will record a separate video in which I will show you how to create a project, how to run a program, and most importantly, how to manage your different programs you're going to create throughout the course, so that you can keep yourself organized and not just have a big jumble of Python files all in one place. In the meantime, if you have any questions, you can contact me by email or through Canvas.